Okay, the Diddy trial just took a wild turn and no one's talking about how crazy this really is. One of the key witnesses, who literally could have helped take him down, is gone. Like, disappeared. Witness number 3, also known as Gina Huynh, was supposed to show up in court, sit on that stand, and tell her story. She told prosecutors she'd be there, but she didn't show up, and now people are freaking out. Because this is a woman who accused a literal billionaire of doing some of the most vile, violent things, but if you know Diddy's history, then her silence, it makes sense. Terrifying sense. So let's back up for a second. Who even is Gina? And why was her testimony supposed to be such a bombshell? Gina Huynh met Diddy in Vegas back in 2013, and they ended up in this on-again, off-again relationship that lasted for years. We're talking 2014 to 2019, and the whole time, it was chaos. Not that cute celeb couple drama, I mean emotional warfare, manipulation, and allegedly much worse. Now here's what's wild. Gina actually started speaking out years ago, like way before the lawsuits, before the headlines, before any charges were filed. Back in 2019, she sat down on a podcast and told the world what she went through. She said at first, everything seemed fine. Diddy was sweet, charming, had that billionaire boyfriend energy, but a few months in, she said he flipped, started belittling her, breaking her down, messing with her mentally, and then came the physical stuff. She didn't just accuse him of being violent. She claimed he stomped on her stomach while she was pregnant.
Like the first 3.5 years, the first 4 months, he was really nice. But then after that, he started being an asshole. So like I say, like the first 3.5 years, he was like mean to me.
So when you say mean, describe it.
He was like always belittling me and always like, he was like mentally, emotionally, and physically me.
Let me say that again. She said he attacked her so brutally, she lost the baby. And she didn't say this last week for clout. She's been saying it for years. Like, imagine carrying that with you, talking about it on a podcast, and then years later, being told to sit in court and relive it in front of Diddy and the world. That's why her silence feels different. This woman has already been through hell. Okay, this is the part that honestly made my stomach turn. So Gina didn't just go through the mental and emotional trauma, she's talked in detail about the physical abuse too. And I'm just gonna warn you now, it's dark. According to Gina, things hit their absolute worst during her second pregnancy with Diddy. She said he didn't want the baby at all. First, he offered her $50,000 to get a procedure done. That's when the violence allegedly started.
Not once, but twice, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When was the first time you became pregnant with Diddy's child?
The first time was October 2014.
Okay. So this was like, what, a year after?
No, not a year, but because I met him in February and then I got pregnant in October.
Oh, so the same year.
The same year.
Okay. And you mind telling me what happened with that pregnancy?
I told him, and then he offered me $50,000 to get rid of it, but I turned it down because I just loved him, and I was like trying to prove that I wasn't the girl that was wanted him for money.
Okay.
Gina says he gave her alcohol, pressured her, and when that didn't work, he got physical. Not like a push or a shove. She says he punched her in the side of the head, avoided her face to hide the bruises, and then he stomped on her stomach.
He started like punching me like this. Like he avoided my face, but he like started punching me like on the side of my head, and I was just like covering my face. And he did that, and then after he got done doing that, he like, cause he was standing, his legs were like in between me, so he stomped on my stomach.
Yeah, that's what she said. He stomped on her while she was pregnant, and she said she couldn't breathe. She was begging him to stop, and he just kept going. Now, I don't know what kind of monster does something like that, but according to Gina, this was normal behind closed doors. And what's even more heartbreaking, she still wanted to prove to him that she wasn't in it for money. She didn't want the $50,000. She says she loved him. She wanted to be seen, to be valued, to matter. Now here's where things start to feel off. Because after everything Gina's been through, after all the stuff she said publicly, you'd think she'd want to make sure Diddy never hurts another woman again, right? That she'd be front and center in that courtroom, ready to testify. But she didn't show. And since May 7th, 2025, no public statement, no update from her team. So of course, people started asking the big question, is she okay? Or was she forced to stay quiet? Now let me say this, if Gina chose to walk away for her own safety or mental health, that's her right. But it's also really suspicious, especially because there are rumors flying around that Diddy's people paid her off. Yup. According to his former bodyguard, Gene Deal, Gina allegedly took a $2 million payout after she appeared on Tasha K's podcast.
They want the prosecution to hurry up to bring Gina in so Gina could paint the picture that like everything was consenting because she's been paid off.
And this is the one that disappeared, right?
Yeah, this is the one who disappeared. This is the one who, they could get her. If the federal government wants you that bad, you'll be gotten, bro. It's too much technology, photo imaging. That's the girl who took off the payment. She took the $2 million payment from Diddy and them when she got on Tasha K. I think Diddy may have gave her $2 million or something like that. Got her in school, gave her an apartment out in LA, still was messing with him. Come on, man. Brainwashed. But she did talk to the federal government.
He claims she went quiet right after that, got set up with an apartment, got back in school, and, get this, was still seeing Diddy, even after she exposed him. And y'all know what Gene said? He was like, if the federal government wants you, they'll find you. So the fact that they're not dragging her into court means one of two things. Either she cut a deal, or someone made her disappear. And honestly, neither of those options makes me feel any better. So this next part just makes it even more obvious that Gina was never really free. Because according to Gene Deal, who, let's be honest, talks a lot, but has dropped some wild truths, Gina was still in Diddy's orbit even after she went public. Like, allegedly, they patched things up, and she kept seeing him on the low while the world thought she'd moved on. Now let me just say, if that's true, that's not love. That's not, we just had a complicated breakup. That's control. That's someone who's been broken down over years and still thinks they owe something to the person who hurt them. And this is where it gets even messier. Gene said the feds do have stuff from Gina. Emails, communication between her and her lawyer. So it's not like she ghosted everyone. It's more like she gave them just enough, then backed out when it got real. And here's what's scary about that. If she's still under his influence after everything, after all the violence, the heartbreak, the humiliation, then how many other people is Diddy still controlling like that? Like, you think it's over because he's locked up? Nah. This man's reach goes way beyond prison walls. Okay, so while Gina's been completely silent in court, her social media says a lot without saying anything. Her last Instagram post was back in April 17th, and after that, not a single update. And people in the comments begging her to come forward like, Gina, where are you? Girl, the court's looking for you. You told your story on a podcast, now testify. One comment even said, if you don't show up, they're gonna make you a co-conspirator. And that's not even a stretch. Because if the prosecution thinks you're withholding evidence or protecting someone like Diddy, they will come for you too. But here's the twist. People also think she might be hoping Diddy gets out. That maybe, deep down, she still believes in him. Like she's clinging to some fantasy where none of this happened and he'll come back and everything will go back to normal. So while Gina's been dodging courtrooms and disappearing from Instagram, she still found time to start drama with Young Miami. This woman is missing from a federal trial, but somehow she's still got time to throw shade online. So here's what went down. Diddy posted something defending Young Miami, calling her important, basically saying she still had a place in his life. And Gina, she did not like that. She clapped back indirectly, posted an IG video mouthing lyrics that said, "You doing all this extra stuff, you stupid." Yeah, The V word was definitely implied. Petty, yes. Calculated, absolutely. But it didn't stop there. Young Miami saw that and went off on Twitter, like unhinged levels of petty. She dragged Gina, saying, "You've been down bad since I came into the picture. You've been crying for a baby for 10 years. Then she called her an eater, and even referenced the Tasha K interview, saying Gina cried on camera because she wanted a baby and never got one. Like, are we serious? These two are beefing over a man who is literally behind bars right now. And here's the worst part, they both still seem to want him. That's the energy they're giving. And people online picked up on it quick. There's a TikTok comment that says, Gina and Young Miami are the two who will never go against Diddy, sadly. And unfortunately, they might be right. Think about it. This man has been accused of horrific things by multiple women. He's facing serious charges, he's behind bars, and still, there are people who seem more committed to protecting him than protecting themselves. Gina was in his life for over a decade. And even after everything she said, all the trauma she opened up about, all the pain she shared, she still went quiet when it really mattered. So if you're watching this and wondering, like, why didn't she testify? Maybe the better question is, how many more are still too scared to speak? And with that, I want to say thank you for watching. If you made it this far, seriously, you're the real one. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this story, it's still unfolding. And you already know we're going to talk about it here first. And I'll see you in the next one.